people, welcome to another HubDate here from the team at the Creativity Hub. As ever, I am your cordial host, Michael. It is a beautiful Belfast summer's day, as you can see, and yeah, it's been incredibly busy here. Just because it's a bit gross and grey outside, it doesn't mean that the office isn't filled with shiny sunlight in our hearts. So yeah, we have been working incredibly hard over these past weeks and months, as we've said on previous videos, getting everything sorted for Untold as much as we can. This week is very big for us. We actually have a big proofing day tomorrow, so you'll see a video from me again later in the week that's mainly focusing on that. But it's the point in time where we get to do essentially final checks on pretty much everything. So team are working incredibly hard, pulling everything together, finalizing things like the board elements, finalizing the rules. We've had rule sets go out to so many different people, so we get as many eyes on them as possible, just to ensure that everything in it, every single thing, every tiny quotation mark, every hyphen, every word that shouldn't have hyphens, that everything is utterly 100% correct. So from experienced gamers through to people who may have never played a game in their lives, we want to make sure that the rules are as understandable as possible for literally every level of player. So yeah, like I said, a more in-depth, detailed video on that will probably go up on Thursday or Friday, so do keep an eye out for that one. Last week though, I said that we were going to be looking at the second game that we are going to be bringing out at Essen this year. Come October, not only will Untold be available, we will also have Blank the card game. Now this is a very, very different game to what Untold is and will be. It's a quick playing card game between 2 and 6 players that plays out like the classic card games of youth. Things like Crazy Eights, things like Uno, for example, is a nice analog for it as well. But it does a couple of things very, very differently. So let's take a quick look at it. Blank the card game is split into 2 separate decks. The first one being the game card deck. 72 cards, 6 different colours, and all of the cards are numbered from 1 through to 6. So for every card you will have 2 of that version. So there's, for example, 2 pink 1s, 2 green 3s, 2 yellow 5s, that kind of stuff. On top of that, there is also a rules card deck, and at the start of every game you deal 3 of these rule cards out face up. So let's have a quick look at an example. For our example, we have the following 3. Anytime a yellow card is played, the player who plays the card has to exchange their hand with another player. For the one in the middle, the dark blue card, the player with the least cards in their hand must cover one eye, you know, like a pirate, until their next turn. And at the end, anytime a 1 is played, all players have to put their hand on the draw pile as quickly as possible, and the last person to do so draws a card. As you can see, this game is not exactly super serious. Every player is then dealt a hand of cards, and put simply, you need to get rid of them all in order to win the game. A card is flipped from the top of the game card stack, and then the fun begins. Say for example, this is our first card. It's light blue and it's a 1. This doesn't trigger any rules yet because, well, nobody played it. The game played it, essentially. Here's my hand of cards. This is what I have to work with, and I could take my 1 here, put it onto the stack, because, hey, I can play either all light blues or all 1s, but this actually ends up triggering not 1, but 2 separate rules. Now, the person who played the card decides which order the rules are triggered in, but generally, if a 1 is played, it's the one that goes immediately, because all players have to put their hand on the draw pile. Everybody would race to go and put their hand on the draw pile, which is currently located up around here. Also, the player with the least cards in hand, which at this point would be me, then has to put their hand over one of their eyes like a pirate until their next turn rolls around. So far, so simple. Keep on playing the cards out of your hand, get rid of them all, and you are victorious. However, as well as trying to pay attention to the rules, some cards also have card effects at the bottom of them. Anytime one of these cards appears on top of the stack, so deciding the order that you drop your multiple cards in is very important. Anytime one of these cards appears, that effect triggers immediately. So you need to be very, very aware of what cards you're putting down and what order you're putting them down in. Winning the game allows you to do one of two things, both of which have a permanent effect on future plays. First of all, you can create one of your own game effect cards. Like we said earlier, half of the cards have pictures on them, like the top row here. And then all you need to do is come up with a game effect and the name of the card as well. If you're feeling adventurous, you can do the whole thing yourself, because half the cards are completely blank. Alternatively, you could create your own rule card, and of course the only thing you need to consider is it must have an if and then condition. So if X happens, then Y must occur. So yeah, it's a way that you have a permanent effect on all future games, because if you make a brand new rule card, players are encouraged to use it in their next game to see what kind of effect it has on how things play out. Of course, game effect cards can come out at any time, either by being drawn randomly, being dealt out, or by players being forced to draw them by making a mistake in the game which causes a penalty. Now, of course, this is far from the final version of the game. This is actually one of the prototype decks that we brought to the UK Games Expo. We had loads of people suggesting their own ideas for rules and stuff. We'll actually be putting a couple of those rules into the final version of the game, which is going to be released at Essen this coming October. For now, though, as ever, thank you very much indeed for watching. We'll be back with another video, like I said, later this week that's going to be specifically Untold focused. And yeah, if you have anything you'd like to get in touch with us about, you know what to do. You can either get us on social media, so that is Creativity Hub on the Twitter, or you can also find us on Facebook. If you'd like to email us, you can also do that too. I am Michael at thecreativityhub.com. Nice and simple. See if you've got questions, comments, all that good stuff. Do let us know. For now though, we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.